Hey, high achiever. I know you care deeply about goals, performance, and accomplishments, but you might feel stuck sometimes. And that's where I come in. My name is Charlene Jefferson, and I am a certified high performance coach, here to guide you as you create intentional habits and routines that will get you to the next level. Whether you want to grow in your career, business, relationships, health, or hobbies, I'll help you propel your goals forward through the habit of living. Hey guys, and welcome to the Habit of Living. I'm super excited to be with you today because today we're going to talk about expressing ourselves and doing so through journaling. And I have a special guest with me today, Miss Erin Galloway of Habitize Publishing. So I got some secrets to tell you. Your girl is finally an author. And it's all because of this lady I have on with me today. Super special, from the moment I met Erin, it's like we keep having these, magical moments of working together, partnering together. And I'm super excited to have her today on my podcast to tell you all about self-publishing, but also tell you about journaling because she has helped me get my journal published. And so we'll talk about it more throughout this episode. So why don't we go ahead and kick it off? Why don't I start with Erin, my guest? Erin, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell me what you do. Tell me all about Habitized Publishing.
So Habitize Publishing came about after working with my daughter and developing activities and journals for elementary aged kids to practice writing and reading and talking about their feelings. And so I was just doing it for her as a struggling early reader, passing it on to some of her classmates and other friends. And suddenly we realized we really liked it and we were having fun and we could do something together. The plan of creating a publishing company didn't really exist until within the last 12 months or so. It really was intended to be something fun and just part of a blog that I was doing over at the Habitized Life. But sometimes your kids spark ideas in you that you don't even see. And so now I do publishing as my primary aspect of business, in addition to some other consulting for small business owners based on my background in operations and strategic planning.
That is amazing. Talk about magical moments, a moment that started with you and your daughter and, just kind of working through with her, the purpose of journaling and the importance of journaling. And then all of a sudden she telling her friends about it and everyone's just jumping on board. And then, you have Habitized Publishing. I love that story. And I love how you brought your child into it. I love that. That's amazing. I do think that is something we all should do more of, right? Find things that we can work with our kids on that they spark that new energy and creativity, right? Within us to do something that they can be a part of as well. That's awesome. Love that. Okay. So that's about Habitized Publishing. So, when you talk about journaling, I can really see, how passionate you are about it. I can see how your daughter, felt the passion from you and obviously got it and got her friends involved. Tell me why you feel journaling is so important, not just for adults, but for kids even.
When I was first talking with her about it, I would say, you know how we hold thoughts in our head and we hold them and we hold them. And there's something that happens when you go to actually say the words out loud to somebody else. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to say it. Right. And so journaling is that next level of taking an idea that you have in your head and then putting it on paper before you even share it with anybody else. That you're sometimes like, oh my gosh, that's really how I feel. Or this really happened. Or I can't figure out how I feel. And so I want to write it down because maybe, today I can't figure it out. But if I go back and revisit it, I can start to put some words together that either I feel more comfortable with, or I could share with a partner or a friend or a coworker. So to me, journaling is really about taking what you're holding on to, even like, writing a to-do list, right? You take the idea and sometimes the process of actually putting it on paper helps you release it, right, from holding on to it in your head, or B, it actually helps you like get some clarity around the idea and its importance and its value at that point in time.
Mm.
It doesn't mean that it has to be important in the long term. It just
Yeah.
means that in this moment, it was valuable enough for you to think about and process. And so getting it out on paper really allows you to sort of create the space and energy to let other new ideas and creativity and curiosity come in.
You're exactly right, because when I think about some of the most valuable moments and the times where I felt like, oh my God, I really felt connected to myself, it was when I actually took those thoughts in my head and I wrote them down on paper, and how I just began to write things that I had never necessarily thought I felt before. So it really helped me express myself through writing in my journal my thoughts, my initial thoughts that really became more developed, right? Thoughts as I began to write more and more about that. And, when I was researching journaling, it actually says that, journaling, meaning the process of writing something down on paper, is actually allows you to express yourself more thoroughly, right? Because some of us have, let's call it, maybe half-baked thoughts or half-baked emotions, and we're just not sure how we truly feel about something, which may lead us to maybe blurting out something that we really don't mean, or saying something that we didn't want to say, or that wasn't fully our thought and it wasn't expressed authentically because we haven't really truly connected with it enough to say, this is truly how I feel about it. And so journaling really allowed me to understand my feelings about things a lot better and feel more grounded and solid about it, right? And so I can say I authentically feel this way. And what led me to getting to that point was journaling, writing my thoughts and my feelings down. And so sometimes I found that, this wasn't really how I felt about something, right? Or other times I thought, yeah, I really actually do feel this way about something. And so journaling is super important, guys. It's something that I talk about in my one-on-one sessions with my coaching clients, because you have to be able to connect to the innermost thoughts and feelings for yourself. And I ask you questions in our coaching sessions to get you there, but it's your job and responsibility to make sure you go home after our sessions and write in your journal and dig deeper into those thoughts, dig deeper into those questions, and find that why about why you're feeling a certain type of way. And then we continue to work through that in our coaching session. So thank you, Erin, again for sharing that, because you're exactly right. Journaling allows us to really express ourselves and our thoughts in a more sound way, essentially. And so thank you for sharing that. When do we start? You talked, Erin, about your daughter starting young, obviously. When did you say you started journaling? Like, is it something just was newfound to you in adulthood, or did you start, at a young age?
Oh my gosh, no, I started as a kid. I actually am still carrying around journals from my elementary school years. I just started to say, like, do I need these anymore?
Right.
As I'm flipping through them, and they're accounting stories that at that point in time were important, right? Who
Yeah.
was dating who, and
Right.
who hung out with who on recess.
Mhm.
They're not important to me now. But at that point in time, they were, right? That was the biggest thing that happened that day. And so, what I find with journaling is that, like, when we were kids, right, they were just these open-ended notebooks,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Just a blank piece of paper. And you were like, okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
Right? Like, do I give my diary a name? Do
Mhm.
I like doodle in it? Is it precious? Did I lose the key and somebody's going to find it?
Yeah.
And, journaling has come a long way, especially guided journals,
Mhm.
right? So there are certainly the open-ended notebooks for free writing, but now there's this incredible opportunity for you to take one aspect of your life at times and say, I don't know what to ask myself. Or sometimes I'm scared to ask the question, but
Yeah.
a journal is going to ask me, a guided journal is going to give me a prompt or some start of a sentence that actually might force me to put words on paper that
Yeah.
I was too scared to do myself. But
Mhm.
I'm like, well, I'm following the prompt. The prompt asked me to do it, right? And so you can say, not just an open-ended aspect of your day, but if journaling for you and looking at just a blank piece of paper feels like too much to get started, you could pick just one aspect of your life and
Mhm.
say, I'm going to go look for a journal just about that. Maybe it's just about parenting, or it's just about entrepreneurship, or maybe it's your spiritual or faith-based beliefs, or maybe it's like, coming out of a family illness or a particular, traumatic or crisis point in your family. And I'm just going to start with that one simple, specific topic and write about that instead of an open-ended aspect of my life. And that can really be a great place for people to actually start putting a pen to paper, because it's something that's not so open-ended. It's really guided by a specific set of questions. So I think that that's a great strategy for people to get started. There's so many that are, 5 minutes a day or 1 line a day. It doesn't have to be big and long and a 30-minute experience. I even tell people, like, use the notes on your phone.
Yeah.
Just open your phone app, put the date if you want to or not, and just write 1 or 2 things. It could be a bulleted list and walk away from it. And you could just delete it at the end of the week if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be length. It's not about time and length and proper grammar and words, and how you can articulate all the thoughts that you have. It's about literally creating space again in your head for something new to enter by taking words and ideas or concerns and putting them on paper.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, we do not have to start with perfection, guys, when you start journaling. The goal is to start, especially if you're going through some of the things that Erin just mentioned. Maybe, you experience the loss of a loved one, or maybe, you have this new relationship and you're not really sure if it's good for you or if it's not. Like, there are life events that have happened and that are happening where we need to really connect to ourselves to understand how we really feel about them. And journaling is a perfect way. You don't have to be an English major. You don't have to be, some, author or, great speaker with the perfect articulation and elegant words. Write your thoughts down, get them down on paper, just the way you would say it, because it's your journal. It's your life, it's your world, and you're expressing yourself in your words. And so it's okay if it's not perfect. Just, do what I tell my clients to do, take action, because action takers are always gonna, be able to get to that next level, where you're taking your thoughts and putting them to action. And so, Erin, thank you for sharing that. I mean, I think that's definitely an easy way to get started, even if it is just, taking out your phone and typing into your notes every day, if that's what you choose to do. It does not have to be, like Erin said, some hour of writing. No, just get your thoughts down in that moment and express yourself. And so, Erin, that is perfect, for someone who may not have started journaling when they were young. I know for me, it was just kind of similar to you. I think if I would look back at my old journals, they would probably just be torn out sheets of paper, to be honest, out of various notebooks where I wrote down, oh, today, something about some guy or something about the girl, friends that I had as a kid. And maybe we got into an argument or whatever. We had a great day, whatever it was, that was going on. But mine was kind of just everywhere, I would say. I never had like a specific set journal, I feel like, as a child. However, growing up, I probably have had maybe 6 or 7. And in full transparency, some of them were, completely blank pages, free writing journals. And I felt like that was great in times where I needed a lot of space just to, write in and figure out things, right? But those prompted journals, the guided journals, really did spark thought within me. Like, it asked me questions that I wouldn't have asked myself otherwise, which allowed me to tap into deeper feelings, and more advanced and challenging, thoughts of myself. And so I thought those were really life-changing journals, where I was able to not just express my initial thoughts, but then go a bit further through the prompts that the journal gave me. And I like to plug in here, my new journal real quickly. Erin, we're going to talk more about Erin and Habitize Publishing, through this next segment, but Erin has helped me publish my first journal. So I am a published author now, and I can't wait to share the details with you all. I know, yay. But it's called Ready, Set, Discover, a 90-day journal to becoming your best self. And this is the journal that is going to challenge you. It's going to give you prompts. It's guiding you daily through your habits. It's asking you questions that are going to be challenging to you because you're becoming your best self. And for many of us, that's someone who we've never been before, right? We've never done those things. We never thought that way. And that is what this journal is doing. It's really asking you questions of who you want to become and then setting you up in a way where you get to define what that person does. And every day you get to challenge yourself and make sure you're meeting your own expectations, but also that you're feeling joy, you're feeling peace, you're feeling authentic with each and every day that you leave and live into becoming your best self. So, Erin, let's talk about Habitize Publishing. Let's talk about what you do now.
Yeah, people ask like, what is habitize, right? Like, what is that word? And to me, so I always happen to see the world in patterns. Even since I was a kid, there are pictures of me organizing. It was something that brought me joy. And so initially it was physical things that I organized. And over time, I just really refined this skill of taking ideas or pieces of paper that may have looked very scattered and putting them into like systems or buckets and finding their common threads and then creating a model or routine around it. And so, I was really helping my daughter do this because she had some of this skill too. And so I was talking with her again as my inspiration, right? Like, how do you do the same things over and over again? So this even started when she was little, very, very early compared to a lot of kids. We were picking out her clothes. We were putting them out for the whole week of preschool, right? And she like did that routine on her own. And so what I would say is, how do you habitize certain aspects of your life? So again, you don't have to think about them as much. If we could just find ways to habitize and look at a habitized mindset, which is what I say, it's a way to approach the world similar to a growth mindset or a learning mindset. It's just a way to process information and put it into some sort of compartmentalized way. And so for me, it started to make a lot of sense to say, there's a lot of amazing coaches, therapists, entrepreneurs that have found models of success by doing certain aspects related to their life or their business or their therapy over and over again. It's the same thing. And so I decided, why not help other people shine? And again, share their genius with others by putting together guided journals, workbooks, educational materials that help share your best habits with other people. And so that's how that came about. And working with your journal was really fun because you wanted to expose people to a variety of different ways to be prompted. Right. So some will come to me and say, I want this specific set of questions every day. Right. That is meaningful to them and their clients. And others will say, like, no, my clients may not have these habits yet. And by giving them modes of ways of thinking, both open-ended and lists and guided, maybe only numbering and ranking, right, sort of helps create little connections to think of information in a different way until you get into a habit of writing about the same things every day. And so I love it. Everybody approaches it differently. And that was what, was fun and also challenging, right? To figure out like what you thought was going to be the best for your clients. And that's my goal, like to align it with what how you coach and how you serve.
Absolutely. Yes. So you heard it from Erin. I like to give you guys a variety because what I found in my one-on-one coaching sessions is that every client is different. Every client is at a different place in their life where they are expressing themselves. Some people love all the prompts, and then other people's, clients love the free space. And then we have clients who are a mix of both, right? They're kind of on the fence and they need a little bit of help getting started and then staying motivated during, the middle part of the journey and finishing it out strong. And so you're going to get a variety in my journal of prompts. You're going to get a variety of different exercises to help you think about, who is your best self and how do you walk and live into that person each and every day. But also, what do you want out of it at the end of it? And so you even get to write a note to yourself at the end to tell yourself about how great you did. And so I'm super excited again to send this out to you all. And I can't wait to, officially announce it, but you'll all get to see the good work that myself and Erin, who has helped make this come to life for me, have done. So Erin, you talk about, the habitized piece of it, right? And liking it to, the growth mindset, et cetera. And I like to even think that, habits, because that is, something that I also cover in my coaching sessions. It's all built into that. Like there are growth habits, right? At the end of the day, that you have to practice to get you into that flow of growth, and if you would say or share in just the work that you're doing from the habitized concept, what has been maybe that one thing that you've noticed with clients, whether it be the author clients or other clients, coaching clients, that has been that one maybe breakthrough moment for your clients?
Yeah, I approach habits in a slightly different way than some of the most successful models out there. And I'm not saying that those don't work, right? Those obviously work. But what I say is if you do have habits that aren't sticking, right? You have those that you have locked in, and then you have a series of others that aren't. One way to consider it is to go a little bit deeper and to create a connection to an emotion or a personal character quality that you really want to focus on. And maybe that is sort of the habit hack that you need in order to get a certain behavior or pattern to stick.
Mhm.
So it could be, I want to stay focused. Like I want to be in the habit of staying focused, or I want to be in the habit of taking action. That
Mhm.
is a different mindset of saying that versus I want to have 0 cheat days. I want to exercise for 30 minutes, right? Like those are different goals.
Yeah.
And so as I start to talk to people about reframing certain habits and what's really important to them,
Mhm.
it really has sort of opened people's minds to how aspects of our life, aspects of our childhood,
Mhm.
aspects of our personal development
Mhm.
aren't completely quantifiable.
Mhm.
And there's things that we really feel motivated by, or as I say, can build momentum towards by
Mhm.
taking little steps of saying, again, I want to take an action today that was bigger than an action I took yesterday.
Mhm.
Like it sounds sort of slightly vague, but sometimes vague is okay.
Yeah.
And that's just what we need because really it's getting us away from seeing a behavior as good or bad,
Mhm.
and guilt and shame related to not being disciplined enough to stop the behavior.
Mhm.
When it's like, no, no, no. I just need to be in a habit mindset that says, like, I'm a good person, right?
Mhm.
I'm good in many aspects of my life. I just really want to, again, stay focused. I'm focused on my emotional well being. And so, being able to stay calm, just staying
Mhm.
calm is a perfectly fine habit throughout a day
Yeah.
because that means you can self regulate, you
Exactly.
have emotional wellness skills.
Mhm.
Um, and so helping people think of, again, some places where they really can release the shame and guilt
Mhm.
and focus more on a quality or a broader characteristic,
Mhm.
I find has helped a lot of people, again, in certain aspects of their habits.
Okay. No, and I love that because yeah, you're exactly right. I think, different things work for different people. I think at the end of the day, we just have to come to terms that we want more for ourselves. We want better for ourselves. And what is it that we need to put in place, whether it's a system, routine, a habit, that would allow us to get there? And so I'm thankful you share that approach for sure, and share more about habitized concepts. Um, Tell me then, Erin, now that you've talked about Habitize Publishing, how do people get in contact with you? How do we say, Erin, I need help self-publishing. Help me.
Yeah. I've really focused on LinkedIn lately. I got into the habit of being over on LinkedIn. Social media is such a big platform. And so, there's so many different options. And I said, okay, right, where am I going to focus? That's an easy place to find me is over on LinkedIn. I do have the websites habitizepublishing.com and habitizelife.com. Those are the easy spaces in order to connect, and certainly building up on Instagram with the same names as well.
Mhm.
And, I really look forward to helping people figure out, either their own journaling practice, like you talk about, or if you have a voice and you have a position and you're ready to have that impact the world, like
Mhm.
let's talk about how you could get it out there and self-publish is an option for you.
That is amazing, guys. So if you are an aspiring author and you're looking to be a self-published author soon, then reach out to Erin. You just heard her, Habitize Publishing website or Habitize Living websites, and she's on Instagram and LinkedIn. So go find her, reach out to her if you're looking to become a self-published author. Now, I would say, and I want to end this, with two questions I typically ask before I end, with my guests. The first question is, if you were to speak to your 20-year-old self about the habits you've learned, that got you to the point where you are now, what would you say to your 20-year-old self?
Keep asking questions.
Yeah.
I was that person. I mean, I was the kid that always asked why.
Yeah.
Bless my parents. Always asked why. And then people used to say to me in my early professional career, they
Yeah.
would be like, just get ready because Aaron's going to ask you for something.
Yeah.
And like some people termed that as sort of a negative,
Hmm.
right? But I took that as like, yes, I'm known as an asker, right? I'm going to ask for
Yeah.
what I want. And so, yeah, so I would definitely say keep doing that because that has served me over my career.
That is amazing. Are there any key habits you like to share that you've adopted, now in adulthood that you found beneficial?
So I have like key daily habits that are
Yeah.
so small, like making my bed,
Okay.
right? Or writing every day, however big it is.
Mhm.
That to other people, they're like, how does that change your perspective?
Yeah.
I really like to focus on those because for me, the small habits are passing it on to the kids that are watching me,
Yeah.
right? They're the ones that instead of me just saying, no, don't do that,
Mhm.
they're watching me do it. And it's sort of like the marathon play. It's the long play. I know they won't, follow me every time.
Yeah.
But when you do watch kids follow you or even partners follow you without having to say or direct,
Yeah.
that for me is like the big habits to focus on.
I love that. Going first, being the leaders that we are, right? When we want to spark change, the first place the change should spark is within us. And so that is amazing, Erin. Thank you for sharing that. I just have one last question. What is one thing you like to share to help the audience, the listeners, your listeners, my listeners feel empowered?
Focusing on your strengths when it comes to habits.
Mm.
We are all good. We are
Mm.
all good. We are all making healthy choices.
Yeah.
Could we all make healthier? Sure. Could we
Mhm.
all do better? Sure.
Yeah.
But you are good at habits. It's focusing on those first and allowing yourself to feel the pride and the joy of what you are accomplishing, and then building on that satisfaction and that feeling to keep you building momentum towards the other aspects of your life that are maybe more challenging at this point in time.
Absolutely. You heard it, guys. You are good. You're good people and you have good habits. And you can, focus on your strengths while also, thinking about those areas you want to improve on and getting help and asking for help where you need to. That is where, I come in with my one-on-one coaching programs. You're certainly welcome to reach out in the link below, sign up for a free coaching session. Yes, I believe in the framework so much that the first session is on me. We talk about where you are, who you are and who you want to become most importantly, and what is what are those things that may be roadblocks in your journey to getting there, right? Because as Erin said, our kids are watching, our family's watching, and what are we showing them? What are we teaching them? And if we can learn habits today that will allow us to show our best selves to them, that they can pick up on that and do it for themselves, even now at an early age, why don't we start? So you can click the link in the show notes where you can get that free session and book your call with me. You can also click the link in the show notes to reach out to Erin. So all of her details will be in those show notes. So guys, I thank you today. Journaling is super important. If you have a thought that you feel you're not sure how to express yourself to someone, or really you're just trying to figure out how you truly feel about something, think about and consider expressing yourself through journaling. It is super important, and it is science backed that journaling will help you uncover your true feelings about situations, about people, about things, and help you really reach your true and authentic self and feelings as it relates to a specific issue. So, guys, I'm going to thank you for joining with us today. I'm going to let you go ahead and get into the habit of living, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Habit of Living podcast. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend so we can grow our community. It would also mean the world if you left a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you want to connect one-on-one, follow me on Instagram at I am Charlene Jefferson or on LinkedIn at the link in our show notes. See you in the next episode.